Hey everyone, today on People Now, Kanye West cries while talking about his daughter at his first campaign rally. We have the details. A gunman in a FedEx driver's uniform kills a federal judge's son and injures her husband. We'll tell you what we've learned. Also on today's show.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie and I'm here to be your moderator.
It's a Parent Trap reunion. The cast of the iconic show reunites to talk about their favorite memories and lines. Lindsay Lohan, Dennis Quaid, director Nancy Meyers, and more. Start your week off with some sangria. It's a Monday, why not? Learn how to make a rosé sangria with a mixed berry ice ring with Justin Chapel. Plus,
it's a very melancholic song, and when I heard Zed's version, I just kind of lost it.
Jasmine Thompson stops by to talk all about her new song with Zed. It's called Funny. Get all the deets on her super meta music video and the behind the scenes of it all. That and more today on People Now. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to People Now. I hope you're having a good Monday so far and hope you had a great weekend. I'm Andrea Boehlke here in Wisconsin. We have a really exciting show today. We are making some sangria, which is perfect for a Monday, right? That's with Justin Chapel. Also, Jasmine Thompson stops by. She dropped a new single with Zed. It's called Funny. So we have a lot of really exciting things coming up today. But first, here's what you need to know and what's trending for your Monday. Kanye West broke into tears while discussing abortion and his daughter North at his first presidential campaign rally in Charleston, South Carolina on Sunday. During the event, the rapper shared some very personal details surrounding Kim Kardashian's first pregnancy, telling the crowd they considered abortion. At one point, the rapper screamed, "I almost killed my daughter. I love my daughter." He also said, quote, "Even if my wife wants to divorce me after the speech, she brought North into the world even when I didn't want to. She stood up and she protected that child." West then grew emotional as he related the story to his own mother. He said, "My mom saved my life. My dad wanted to abort me. My mom saved my life. There would have been no Kanye West because my dad was too busy." West said if elected to office, he will get rid of Plan B. It's an emergency contraceptive that helps prevent pregnancy within 72 hours after unprotected sex. The rapper's speech lasted for over an hour, and during that time, West made some bizarre and controversial comments like Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves, she just had them work for other white people. He also spoke about his past relationship with Amber Rose, his Adidas partnership, gun laws, and he addressed the criticism against him. He said, "The most racist thing that has ever been said out loud is the idea that if Kanye West runs for president, I'm going to split the black votes." He continued that he doesn't care if he wins. He said, quote, "I am in service to God." West's rally came just days after he filed his first official paperwork regarding his campaign in Oklahoma. It's the first state where he met the requirements before the filing deadline. The FBI is investigating a fatal shooting that occurred at the home of a New Jersey judge on Sunday. According to the Associated Press, Judge Esther Salas' son Daniel was killed in the altercation, and her husband Mark is recovering from surgery. The outlet also reports that Judge Salas was in the basement of the North Brunswick Township home when the gunman came to the door. According to CNN, the suspect wore a FedEx driver's uniform during the attack, though investigators are unsure whether he's an actual employee or disguising himself as a delivery worker. A FedEx spokesperson told CNN in a statement that the company is fully cooperating with investigating authorities. CNN also reported that the motive is currently unknown, as authorities did not know of any threats made against the judge. The outlet noted that Judge Salas has worked on a number of major cases, including Real Housewives of New Jersey stars Teresa and Joe Giudice's 2014 financial fraud case. Amid the devastating news, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy tweeted out, "Judge Salas and her family are in our thoughts at this time as they cope with this senseless act." Mayor of North Brunswick, Mac Womack, reacted to the fatal shooting on Twitter, writing in part, "No words can express the sadness and loss that we share tonight as a community after senseless shootings of the husband and son of USDC Judge Esther Salas." According to the New York Times, one of Salas' neighbors said the confrontation happened at about 5 p.m. The neighbor spoke highly of the family, mentioning that Salas has previously expressed worries about being in danger because of her job, telling the outlet, quote, "She had some high-profile cases, and she was always a little concerned." And anyone with relevant information about this case can contact FBI Newark at the number listed below. All right, now moving on to this. Nicki Minaj has announced that she is pregnant. The rapper is expecting with her husband, Kenneth Petty. She posted the announcement on Instagram Monday with a set of glam snapshots that bear her baby bump. In two of the photos, Minaj is rocking a curly, bright yellow hairdo, an intricately decorated bikini, and sparkly platform stilettos. Looking good. Another photo shows her in a ruffled bottom, white knee-high stockings, and a blue done-up hairstyle, complete with a bright green bow. She captioned her first post, #Preggers, with a yellow heart. And the third post she captioned, "Love, marriage, baby carriage, overflowing with excitement and gratitude. Thank you for all the well wishes." Minaj and Petty tied the knot in October of 2019. This is the first child for both of them.
Everyone in the world believes they're unique in their own way. Annie James and Hallie Parker are about to discover.
This is so freaky.
They're both unique in the same way.
That's my mom. That's my dad. And you and I are like sisters. Hallie, we're like twins.
The cast and crew of Disney favorite The Parent Trap reunited for the first time since the film was released on July 20th, 1998. The special was posted on Katie Couric's Instagram on Monday in honor of the film's 22nd anniversary. The cast, including Lindsay Lohan, Dennis Quaid, and director Nancy Meyers, shared their favorite moments on set, recited their characters' most iconic lines, and discussed the film's impact decades later. The film follows Annie James and Hallie Parker, portrayed by Lindsay Lohan, who were separated at birth and each raised by one of their biological parents. The girls later discover each other for the first time at summer camp and devise a plan to bring their family back together. The film received acclaim from critics, with praise showered on Lohan for her dual performance. The reunion helped raise funds for Jose Andres' nonprofit organization, World Central Kitchen, and the cast and crew also paid tribute to the late Natasha Richardson, who portrayed Annie and Hallie's mother, Liz. Richardson died in March of 2009. During the reunion, Lohan revealed how Parent Trap helped her during that stage of her life. Watch this.
I didn't feel like I was working. It just felt like a really incredible learning experience for me, and a lot of fun. And my parents were kind of separating at the time when this was all going on, and it made it a lot easier for me to play these characters that were figuring it out. And The Parent Trap, I mean, it's beautiful. It's timeless and it's special. It's just really special.
You can check out the entire reunion on Katie Couric's Instagram. All right, stay with us. Singer-songwriter Jasmine Thompson joins us to talk all about her new single, Funny. Plus, Josh Gad is opening up about a special moment while screening Frozen with his wife. All right, everyone. So the annual Food and Wine Classic is still happening this year on Thursday, July 23rd, but there's a bit of a twist here. So instead of happening in Aspen, it's actually going to be held virtually for everyone who wants to attend from their homes. Now, Food and Wine's culinary director at large, Justin Chappell, is joining me now to talk all about it and give us a taste for a rosé sangria with a mixed berry ice ring. I'm so excited about this. Justin, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Before we get to the sangria, which again, I'm so excited about, tell me more about the event this year and what can people expect?
Yeah, so, for 38 years, the Food and Wine Classic has taken place in the beautiful mountains of Aspen, Colorado. Unfortunately, like many things due to the pandemic, we were unable to have the event this year, but we are so thrilled to have figured it out and to host it virtually so that we can, bring that same experience into people's homes, whether they are going to watch in the kitchen or in the living rooms. And they could expect what they would expect in Aspen. We're going to have incredible wine and beer tastings that are live. We're going to have food and cooking demonstrations from some of the best talent out there. And we even have, a few surprise guests that are pretty famous, I have to say. So we're really excited that they're joining us this year.
This is a food event, so it's going to be different because you're not going to be there in person. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced while deciding how to put this on?
Believe it or not, one of the largest challenges was just figuring out how to do it tech-wise. But we found a really great program, and we're going to offer some incredible cooking demonstrations that people are going to walk away with lots of information, some really cool tips and tricks. Plus, they're going to get to see some of their favorite food and beverage talent.
I love it. How is the event raising funds and awareness for charity?
Yes, so thank you so much for asking that. So this event is a free event to attend. You can register on foodandwine.com/classicathome, but we are encouraging folks who do register and who join the festivities to donate to one of the 5 charities that we are kind of raising money for, and a whole list of those charities along with what they do I mean, we have the Jacques Pepin Foundation, we have Southern Smoke Foundation, Wholesome Wave, World Central Kitchen, the NAACP Legal and Educational Defense Fund. So to learn more about what they do, again, you could go to foodandwine.com/classicathome.
Obviously, it's unfortunate that it has to be virtual, but it's also great that you have the technology to do so and people can still get involved. What are you most looking forward to?
You know, so one of my really good friends, Top Chef Kristen Kish, is joining us for the event, and I'm really excited because she's making a ricotta gnudi. She makes incredible fresh pasta, and the demonstration she's going to do is going to be all about showing how approachable it is and how you can make it on a weeknight. So I'm really looking forward to that because she's a good friend, and I'm going to get to kind of interact with her over the airwaves, and so that'll be really fun. But also, actually, we have Martha Stewart, we have Jacques Pepin, I mean, we have Aisha Curry, and believe it or not, Martha is going to be making a Martha Rita, which is her riff on a margarita, obviously. So if there's one thing to be excited for, you got the Martha Rita.
Ooh, I love it. All right, so you have a treat for us now. So we're gonna make some sangria. I've never made sangria before. I mean, I'm actually just watching you make it, but I'm just gonna count this as me making it as well with you. So what ingredients do you need? How do we get started?
So this is a riff on a sangria. It's so I'm the host of Food and Wine's Mad Genius Tips, and every year in Aspen, I do a really fun cooking demonstration where I showcase like fun cooking hacks. I've done a lot on PeopleTV, which have been really fun to do. And so this sangria is one of those hacks. And so it starts with a sangria base, which I've already got one bottle of sangria into a big punch bowl. It's gonna be me and one other person joining the virtual event, so this will be just enough. So we got 2 bottles of rosé. Yes, 2 whole bottles of rosé. And to that, we are adding 1 cup of simple syrup, which is just equal parts water and sugar. And then we're adding 1 cup of white rum. You can add any white rum you'd like, but if all you have is an aged dark rum, go ahead and use that, it'll be fine. So 1 cup into your punch bowl. And lastly, we're adding some Campari, which is gonna kind of balance out the sweetness, and about a half a cup, which looks like what I have left in this bottle. It's good to go. You give that a mix, and I would like to point out that all of these ingredients are really cold because you want it to start out cold, but in order to keep it cold, we are gonna make one of my favorite hacks of all time. It's a mixed berry ice string. You're gonna watch this, your mind's gonna be blown. You're gonna make this every summer. So we start with one of my favorite pieces of kitchen equipment, a bundt pan. So to your bundt pan, you're gonna add a cup each of raspberries, blueberries. We have sliced strawberries.
Yum.
Get those in there too. And then we have blackberries. I'm not sure what your favorite berry is, but these are mine.
I like raspberries. And actually, I'm on our farm in Wisconsin, so we have a lot of raspberries in the garden. So I can just go out to the garden and get some of these.
Yeah, and you could actually make little mini versions of it if you have bowls this size. Just fill it with some raspberries, and then you're gonna add the water just like we're gonna do now. So you can see we have all the berries in the bundt pan, looking really beautiful. And you're gonna add some distilled water, and you don't want a ton of water. You just want enough to barely cover the berries.
Okay,
and you don't want to
distilled water is important, right? It has to be distilled.
Yeah, because I mean, you can use tap water, that's fine, but distilled water will give you a really clear ice, which is going to showcase the color and the look of your berries really nicely after it freezes. Because what you're going to do is you're going to pop this in the freezer. I'm going to turn around here because I have my swap. Here's my swap. But I also need a couple other things. A sheet tray or a big plate or platter. You can see how the berries are all frozen and suspended right in there. It's really cool. So I have some really hot water in a large bowl, and we're gonna dip the bottom of this in here, assuming I could fit this bowl, the bundt pan in the bowl. And we're just gonna kind of loosen it. I could tell it that it's sort of loosened itself, I think. Yep. Get rid of that. And here comes the really cool part. And every time I do this in Aspen, everyone like yells because it makes a really loud thump. We're gonna hope it makes that noise here. Let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Woo!
See, that was pretty loud. It was pretty loud. And then Look at that.
Wow, that's really cool. And not that difficult to do.
I mean, look at how incredible that is.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And if you flip it over, it's studded with all these berries. Now this is where this big bowl of wine and booze becomes sangria, because you cannot have sangria without infusing your liquor with fruit. And so what we're gonna do is two things with this. We're gonna add this berry ice ring right into this giant bowl. And not only is it going to keep the punch cold throughout the classic at home, because that's what you're gonna make this for, but it's gonna slowly infuse your drink with all that fresh berry flavor. I mean, this is a perfect summer cocktail.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous.
And then what you can do is just keep some extra berries on the side. I meant to do that and I forgot, but I do have one lonely strawberry, and that'll be for you.
I love it. Okay, are you gonna have a little bit with me? I'm gonna do it virtually. I'm just gonna feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Pretend you're holding this glass, and then I'll drink this. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Refreshing.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, it's perfect for the summer. It's perfect to have while you're watching the event. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, so everyone, you just got the recipe here. Make sure you do this at home, and make sure you reserve your spot for the Food and Wine Classic at home, happening Thursday, July 23rd. Justin, thank you so much.
All right, guys, with states slowly starting to lift some of their stay-at-home orders, gyms across the country are beginning to reopen, and people want to know, can I go back? Is it safe? Well, luckily, we're going to have a few answers here because Shape Magazine's deputy digital editor, Alyssa Sparacino, is here. Alyssa, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
This is one of those things that, you know, among many lifestyle elements that was shifted, everyone I know had to make some sort of adjustment to how they work out, how they stay active since the gyms shut down. Let's start there. They are shut down, but as you know, people are going back or thinking about it, what are the biggest concerns with working out at gyms right now?
Yeah, so a couple things come to mind. First and foremost, you know, what we do understand, and sometimes it feels like we're just skimming the surface of this virus and we're learning more every day, but what we do know is that your risk is much higher indoors than out. So that's the number one concern with gyms, right? The airflow, the air circulation, it's just not there. Right. So that's number one. Secondarily, you know, it's the length of exposure time. So infectious disease specialists will always emphasize the length of exposure. So if you're at the gym for 45 minutes to an hour, no matter what the capacity is, as long as there's another human being in there at some point, your length of exposure increases in tandem with that time. So right. You know, that's also huge. And, you know, another big thing, and I think a lot of people, this is what comes to mind when they're thinking about the gyms or their favorite studio, is touch points. So things like surfaces, you know, specialists will tell you that the virus can live on surfaces, and this varies depending on the material, of course, anywhere from a couple hours to a couple days. Right. So, you know, think of all the things you're touching in a gym, dumbbells, right. kettlebells, machines, you know, the bike handles. Water fountains, huge, right. huge. Yeah. And while, you know, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, you know, gyms and studios are doing what they can to alleviate some risk.
Well, that was my next question. I'm sure they are implementing some very stringent standards and hopefully frequency of cleaning and sanitizing. What are some of the things that gyms are doing?
Yeah, so this will vary, and I think I really encourage everyone that if they do have a favorite studio or they're in an area where, you know, the risk of transmission might be higher, that they always contact their gym if it is open to see what they're doing before they just kind of walk in and, you know, expose themselves willy-nilly. But some common things you'll see is, you know, temperature checks before you walk in the door. There will be, you know, frequent and more deep cleaning from staff. Staff should be wearing gloves and masks. There's often contactless check-ins now, so people won't even have to interact with the human necessarily to, you know, start your workout. There's certainly capacity caps as well. You know, 50% capacity caps are often what we'll see in restaurants and gyms and studios. And then, you know, social distancing measures, whether it's a marker on the floor or certain bikes that you might, you know, join if it's a group class, or certain weights that might be off limits, things like that.
So even with those safety measures in place, from the perspective of the industry, is it considered safe to go? What's the general prevailing attitude?
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but don't kill the messenger here. This gym, truth be told, bottom line, is just not the safest place to be right now. You know, we've lasted this long during lockdown and in our, you know, working out at home, our new routines, if you will, our new normal. So, you know, an infectious disease specialist would tell you that stepping foot outside your door, you're you know, having some semblance of a risk. So really, it's not the place to be.
Well, and luckily, excuse me, for a lot of people, you know, the weather's good. Hopefully people can maintain or figure out a way to be outside and more distanced and do that until they have to go back to a gym. But if people do decide to hit the gym, what precautions should they take? The obvious is wear a mask. Are there other things?
Yeah, I mean, much of the advice is the same that you've heard for many months now. You know, wash your hands, keep hand sanitizer on. One of the things that is kind of unique that you might want to consider, especially if you're going to a big box gym, although it could be, you know, used at a studio as well, but think using things like weightlifting gloves, even if you aren't practicing weightlifting, it is, you know, putting a barrier between yourself and that surface that we talked about. You just want to make sure that you remove it after you leave from the inside out and make sure to wash them.
And I feel like I'm going to like walk in with a little fanny pack full of disinfectant wipes for every handle before I sit down in a machine or lift up a dumbbell or anything. Let's talk about this. Things that people could do before or especially maybe after leaving the gym to lower their risk of getting coronavirus.
Yeah, so a couple things. Think about how you're getting to the gym. Are you driving there? Are you walking there? Obviously, you want to wear a mask if it's not required when you are in the facility, which you should. Infectious disease experts do recommend you work out with a mask if at all possible. And I did want to mention, Jeremy, you mentioned outside workouts. You know, if for whatever reason you're struggling to breathe during a workout in the gym while wearing a mask, either lower the intensity or again, consider alternatives such as outside. But what you can do after, wash your hands, wash your clothes, wipe down steering wheels of your car, door handles, things like that. And again, you know, remove those gloves that you've used.
That makes a lot of sense. Any last minute thoughts or advice you have for people that are ready to make that trip to the local gym?
Guys, you can get an efficient, really powerful, good workout at home. You know, the technology and the space-saving equipment is evolving and revolutionizing all day, every day. Things like, you know, the Peloton bike or the mirror, for example, you know, have really revolutionized what you can do at home with your workouts. There's so many apps out there, and there really is something for everyone. So although totally understandable that you want to get back to your routine pre-COVID, you know, you can get a really great workout at home.
And turns out probably tons of workouts available on all the Shape magazine platforms. I have a feeling.
Check it out.
That's a quick listen to Jasmine Thompson and Zed's new single called Funny. It's the first new music this year for Zed, who's collaborated previously with artists like Alessia Cara and Maren Morris. I caught up with Jasmine Thompson to talk all about the track, making the very meta music video from home, growing up on YouTube, and so much more. Take a look.
So I was in the studio with the producers and writers. There's these really good guys called the Monsters and Strangers. And I was over there in LA. I live in London. I went over just for a few days about a year ago, and I was recording and working on the song with them. And then I actually went back home to London, and without telling me, they all kind of made a decision that they thought Zed would really love the track. So without telling me, they sent it over to him, and he loved it, and he really wanted to collaborate on the song. And he sent over his version, got in touch with me via management. And honestly, I was just so shocked because originally it was kind of more of a piano song, and it's a very melancholic song. And when I heard Zed's version, I just kind of lost it because one, I was just shocked that Zed was working with my vocals and had actually like heard me sing. And then two, the idea of collaborating with him was just like life-changing, really. When I was supposed to go over to LA to meet him and work on like the music video, things like that, lockdown hit and all the borders shut. So sadly, I haven't met Zed, but we've managed to have a good like dialogue just over like FaceTime and talking about everything that goes on. It's so weird at the moment, just having to meet so many people, but not.
You're meeting everyone virtually. I mean, in the video, we see that, you know, Zed reaches out to you, says you got your info from Louis Capaldi. Is that true, or how true to life is that?
I wish it was true. Honestly, I wish it was true. I believe that Zed and Louis have known each other for a while, and it was kind of like their little cameo in a way to get their friends in it. But when I heard that Louis was going to be in the video, I absolutely lost it. I'm such a huge fan, and I absolutely wish Zed got my number from Louis, but that's just like a fairy tale in a way. It's like the music industry, everyone knows each other, but I don't know, hopefully one day I can meet both of them in real life.
Along with staying at home, the music video parallels that. It's very meta. Where did the concept come from for it, and what was the biggest struggle putting it together?
So I think the concept came from, we had a wonderful director called Jack, and he proposed the idea about, you know, everyone's at home and everyone's communicating through social media, through texting, and not being able to see people face to face. So he was really just like, you know, we can just have something through my computer desktop about, you know, my past relationship and how tie it into how we met Zed. And it's kind of nice how it kept it to reality. I like the fact that whenever I watch the video in, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 years time, I will be able to pinpoint the fact that this was shot during quarantine, because it's the one that we had to actually do at home. It's not that hard, because I know it's like it's like a first world problem saying like, oh no, there wasn't a director in like face to face, there wasn't like a camera operator. But honestly, I think the biggest struggle was actually having to do it at home, because, you know, I've got my laptop and I had the director Jack on FaceTime, and he was just telling me, okay, can you get this angle? Can you move the computer slightly more this way? Can you add like a little light here and just do the song? And it turned into a very I can't find a better word. It wasn't isolating, but it was nice having it very DIY, because Jack kind of left it to, he was like, just do what you want to do.
There was a really interesting lyric that John texted to you that says, were you typing some lame emo lyric to a song you're trying to write about me? Save it for your dumb YouTube channel. So what's the story behind this? Has that happened before, where maybe someone got mad at you for writing a song about them?
I would love to take credit for that line, that idea, that the text message, but that was Jack being extremely creative. But it was, I think I've definitely had a very sour occasion where some people have just been quite harsh about, for some reason, everyone always thinks that if like a relationship ends, or like you're seeing someone and things like that, a lot of the time some people think that musicians use it as a power of creativity. I wouldn't say I'm someone to go and like seek out pain. I really like positive people and being happy. So whenever someone says, save it for your like YouTube channel for this or blah, 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 like people tend to pick the most well-known fact about you and then throw it in your face. So whenever people do that, I'm kind of just, you've lost all of my respect for you, because come up with something a bit more creative.
What else can you tease when it comes to more music this year?
I've been working on a lot of music over the past few years. I would like to say that a couple more songs might be coming out soon. There's nothing solid yet, so there's nothing that I can say, but I have a lot of music and I have a lot to share. But I think for now, I just want to tour and perform and try and like just sing funny as much as possible. But it's so interesting trying to figure out how we're going to do that in the music industry right now. Everyone's trying to figure out if there's a way to do online gigs through like radio, through Zoom and things like that. So while we're in lockdown, it's kind of like a mystery of how we can share our music.
Taking it back a bit, so you burst on the scene at only 13 years old. You did a cover of Chaka Khan's Ain't Nobody, and then found all the success at such a young age. I mean, looking back at that time of your life, how did you handle that level of success back then?
I was really lucky with the fact that I had such an amazing team around me. And also, you know, not to sound too soppy or like cliche, but I owe a lot to my family. I owe a lot to my mum. She toured with me everywhere, and my band was very much, my musical director was like a father figure to me. We made sure everything was about fun. I think the music industry can be quite toxic, and I think everyone knows the stories about certain artists that fell off the rails a little bit, especially when they start young. But what is so easy to forget is that even though it's an industry, it is based on creativity. And as long as you find those right people, and it's all about the right time, the right place when you meet these important figures in your team. But yeah, everyone was just so fun. Everyone loved the idea and kept the idea that music is the reason we're doing this. Also, I think starting on YouTube was a great way of kind of flowing into it, because I've been on YouTube almost 10 years now. I uploaded my first cover when I was 10.
Wow.
And yeah, and people have literally grown up with me. I've got friends who I've met through the YouTube community, that obviously I make sure that they're not like, you can find some weird characters online, like, let's be real, but the ones that are nice and have stayed with me, they've been friends with me since I was 10. So having that sort of family unit has been so essential to the past 10 years of doing music.
Jasmine Thompson and Zed's single Funny is streaming everywhere right now, so make sure you check it out. Josh Gad is the latest celeb to swing by couch surfing. The Tony-nominated actor is known for a myriad of projects like The Book of Mormon, Marshall, Beauty and the Beast, but nothing tops his role as Olaf in the smash hit Frozen. And Gad shared with couchsurfing host Lola Ogunike a special moment that he had screening the film for his wife. Watch this.
6-7 months prior to the movie coming out, I was with Bobby Lopez, and I said, how's the movie coming? And he goes, well, we just screened it.
Bobby Lopez, by the way, Double E got Frozen,
wrote Book of Mormon, Frozen,
Avenue Q, list goes on and on.
So Bobby looks at me and he goes, we just screened the movie and it's a mess. And I go, well, what do you think? Can you fix it? He goes, I hope so. We're playing around with this idea now that we need this moment where we really see the girls' affection for each other early on. So we're playing with this song that's called Do You Want to Build a Snowman? And so that was, so cut to 6 months later, I'm with my wife and we're screening it with Kristen Bell, Adina Menzel, and the creatives. And I turned to my wife, who's the most critical person I know, Lola, and she looks at me and she goes, this is really special. This is really, really special. And I left it there being okay, we hit the mark.
You can watch Josh Gad dive into his other roles on Couchsurfing, now streaming on PeopleTV. All right, coming up tomorrow, Aisha Curry joins us. She is sharing how she incorporates healthy habits in her busy schedule and how you can too. That and so much more. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.